Yo, slap me and I'll slap your back. Where my warriors at? Revolt, like the militant Malcolm X with the red, black, and green Marcus Garvey on my chest. Revolt, like the great one Nat Turner with the guard you nows, hammers and burners. Revolt, like the militant Malcolm X with the red, black, and green Marcus Garvey on my chest. Revolt, like the great one Nat Turner with the guard you nows, hammers and burners. 7 heads, 10 horns, self-power, the unification of us all in the 11th hour. Death to coon cowards, motherfucker, they are enemies, let them bullets rain.
This is New Bagolino, Bensonhurst Stories. State your name, woman.
Stephanie Bond,
Where were you born at?
and actually Crown Heights, New York, and then at 7 years old we came to Marlboro. And she looked Bensonhurst.
Bensonhurst. Yeah. So was Bensonhurst a fun place when you first came in?
When I first moved here, I learned racism in business.
When was the first time that you learned racism in Bensonhurst?
I was in public school 212, and we used to have GO meetings. So we would have a GO day, and as I'm walking past, we're in the auditorium, and I gotta walk past Linda Sawley. And as I walked past, she told me, watch it. So hearing nigger amongst family, I didn't realize it was a negative thing. And then when I got home and I told my mother what she had called me, and my mother let me know, well, you call her a guinea wop bitch. Okay, as my mother, everybody knew Miss Sharon. So when I got to school the next day, I repeated what my mother told me to say, and then there was a fight, and maybe within an hour, her entire family was in the office, and they called me down there, and I knew something wasn't right because I'm by myself and her whole family is here.
Don't run, Nicole. I thought you was going to give me the shit. Give me the interview.
No, I got you. We can
all
go
right.
right here. I'm about to go, but I got a minute.
All right, what's up?
What's good?
It's New Bagolino, Bensonhurst Stories. State your name, woman.
My name is Nicole from Brooklyn, a.k.a. Soul Sister.
Where were you born at?
Brooklyn, New York, Coney Island Hospital.
All right.
Yes, right
As you
in
know.
Marlboro.
All right. As you know, I'm doing a documentary on Bensonhurst, how we grew up. And I'm going to ask you a few questions, and I want you to elaborate. All right?
Hey, no problem. I got you. I got you. You some people, no doubt.
When was the first time you experienced racism?
Well, growing up in Marlboro, that was Bensonhurst. My own personal experience, I can't recall, but my first experience realizing what racism was, I was about maybe 6 or 7, might have been 76, 77, and my neighbor was attacked on Avenue X. Some people are very familiar with it, the F train station.
Willie Turks?
No, his name is Eddie Thomas. God bless him. He's gone now. Yeah, but he was my neighbor, my first friend Katrina's father. And I remember him being at home because he was my neighbor, and I saw him all bloodied up, bandages. And I'm a kid. And they talked about how white people jumped him and attacked him. So that was my first experience with witnessing racism.
State your name, gangster.
Buddha Bless, a.k.a. Shaft, 2000 that is.
All right. I'm doing a documentary on Marlboro Projects, Bensonhurst, on how we grew up with all the racism and things, and if things change. I want to know, when was the first time you experienced racism?
79.
79.
I grew up in Coney Island. I got kicked out of one school over there. They brought me to the school where there's only 5 black kids. The first thing I see when I'm coming on the bus, turn the corner, handball court, they got a spray paint picture of an executioner chopping a black guy's head off. And I just couldn't believe it. Then when I went home that day, they was throwing rocks and cans and bottles at the buses. So I'm like, what the fuck? It's Coney Island Avenue Z. I'm like, yo, what's up with these people? So, fighting the white boys, you already know how it goes. We playing them in sports. After all the sports, we whip their ass and turn into fights. But the one thing that I did, I said, you know what? I'm not fighting y'all no more. I got a better way to show y'all. So I made my first girlfriend, Anne-Marie Fortunato. Italian chick. They was tighter than a frog's ass underwater. And I went over there to her crib when her pops wasn't there. Had to jump out the window and do like Ben Johnson because that nigga was like, Aunt Marie, is that fucking nigga there? Yeah, that's the first time I really dealt with that shit.
And I'm hearing the arguing going back and forth, and I'm hearing niggas in the office. I'm 7, 8 years old. So my thing immediately was to call my mother. And my mother, being the strong woman she was, came to that school with her back and our dog TJ. And that's how we came home that day.
All right, that was your first time learning about racism. All right, so did you ever have a story about getting chased, or you had to fear for your life, or you had to defend someone else from the Italians that were around Bensonhurst?
Okay, the chasing home started in 212. Because they would have days we had, he was a custodian in the school, and he wore a boot. So, you know, we're children, and we would laugh. And one day he felt the need to try and chase us home. So as he's running with the boot, he can't catch us. And there's a man, he's driving in a car, and he drives, and he speeds up, and he tries to cut my brother Dondi off. So Dondi jumped over the car, but I stopped. So when I stopped, he got out his car, and he picked me up by my neck, up off my feet, and dropped me to the floor, and called me a black bitch. And I think I was 9 at that time.
Wow, that's crazy. He was a grown man?
It was a grown man.
All right. So growing up, what school did you go to? 212, you said, right?
I went to public school 212, and then I went to Cavallaro.
Did the
High school 281. Oh boy, the racism there, it was wonderful.
Did it continue from public school to junior high school?
It got worse in junior high school.
Wow. So how did it get worse?
Well, that's when we really knew what it was with the niggers, and so that was like a second thing every day, and everything else.
So you never had any first-hand experiences?
My personal encounters, you know, I went to school with white people pretty much most of my life. You know, I went to school in Bensonhurst, then I went to Mark Twain for the gifted and talented, majority white and Asian. Then I went to Lafayette, you know, half and half. Then I went to the University of Maryland. So I can't really per se someone was directly like nigga. Now, as an adult, then that was when I really experienced someone calling me out of my name. And we were at a restaurant, and it was kind of said under their breath.
All right.
But it was almost like, you know, these niggers.
What public school did you go to?
I went to PS 248.
What junior high you went to?
I went to Cefalo for a year, then I went to Mark Twain Junior High School.
Never had nothing in Cefalo?
You know, I never did. I didn't have any of those experiences that I can recall.
All right.
That I can recall.
All right. I'm going to ask you another question.
Yes.
Do you remember when Willie Turks and Yusuf Hawkins was murdered?
Yes, I do.
All right, like I asked everybody else, like, you know, all the racism growing up in Marlboro, Coney Island section, you know what I'm saying? Did you ever have a fight with a white guy?
Yeah, plenty fights.
Did you ever have a fight with a black guy?
Plenty fights.
But when you had a fight with the white guy, did it feel the same as fighting with the black guy?
No.
How did it feel to you?
Because all they wanted to do was wrestle and pick you up and do all this other shit. So I had to go both ways. See, with the brothers, I do 52 hand blocks. You know, bop, 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 bop. But with the white boys, I know they always shooting for the knees. So I sidestep them and smash them right there.
But I'm saying, how did you feel fighting them? Like,
oh, I felt like I was feeling revolutionized. I was like, yeah, let's get it. Let's get it, especially for them. Definitely, let's get it.
Yeah. All right.
I feel like I had more anger towards them because what I experienced as a child in school than I did from a cat from my hood.
All right. So, if you had $4 million, would you be white for 2 years for $4 million?
Oh yeah, I'll be white for 2 years. You motherfucking right. Because you know why? I'm gonna be just like my man, white boy from up top, sitting here with the brothers, chilling, macking and blessing everybody.
All right.
Exactly. What's up? Share the love.
All right. I appreciate you coming to help me out with this documentary and give your word on things. But it's one more question. Matter of fact, it's just, can you give the young people that never faced the racism like we did a word to the wise or a jewel or kind word for the young people?
I sure can. Listen, in this day and time, you gotta keep an open mind. You know what I'm saying? It's not about color, it's about credit score. So you know what? Get your weight up the right way. Whether if it's illegal or legal. But make sure you clean that money right. And I'm not saying it in a negative way, but get it when you can and make sure you spread love to your hood, because your hood will take care of you. You know what I'm saying? Sharing is caring, as they say, make corny as it may sound. But you know what? Each one teach one. But you got to teach the right lesson. My lesson to you is open mind, keep it righteous, show love, but stay strong and militant. Peace.
And Caballero, we would have school dances. And unfortunately, you know, if you went to the dance, you got chased home. So, you know, one day I was aggravated, you know, we at the dance and I don't like the music they playing. You never playing at that time. You know, Rapper's Delight, that was out, and we want to hear some rap music and we're not hearing it.
All right.
So, you know, I voiced my opinion, you know, why you're not playing no black music? You ain't playing no black music. And it was about 7 of them chased us home that day. So I went to black music. And the next day, when I got to school, they said that I tried to incite a racial riot. And they were about to suspend me, but my mother came up there and straightened that out. No, you won't. So that's how I didn't get suspended.
So racial incidents like this happen all the time in Marlboro,
It
right?
was an everyday occurrence. And
All right.
we had it where, I won't say his name, rest in peace, because he has passed, but he lived in our building. And we played with him every single day, skelly, stickball, football, baseball, every day. And, you know, being children, we're not realizing, you know, he's chasing us home. He's coming with the Cropsey Avenue boys, and he's chasing us home, you know, and they chase us home. So one day, you know, we all, after being chased home, we sat in front of the building, and we talked about it. And we had one, Larry Williams, let us know, you know, what he's doing, you know, ain't right. And, you know, if he do it again, we're going to do this. So when he came home, because he, like I said, he had chased us, and he's walking to the building, and he turned around and asked, you know, y'all okay? And that's when our friend Larry let us know, you know, if you do that shit again, we're going to bust your fucking ass if you do it again. Right? And, you know, yeah. And that's what stopped him from coming up to 281 to chase us home.
Wow, that's crazy. They lived in the projects. It was fun. All right, so you've been around for a while. Do you remember when Willie Turks and Yusuf Hawkins got killed? How did you feel when you got the news about that?
Well, I actually remember I was a teenager, going into a teenager, and I was working, well, I was a teenager, so I was working in the city. So I was in high school, and, you know, it affected me to the point that, you know, I was kind of fearful because of the area I live in, the school I go to, things that I had witnessed. You know, so it was a little alarming, especially being young at that age.
All right. Now, another question, though. I know you had a fight with a black girl before, right?
Yes, I have. I didn't fight a lot, but I did have a fight.
Have you ever had a fight with a white girl before?
Have I? No, I can't recall a fight with a white girl.
Oh, all right.
It's ironic, because you said Hawkins. And I remember Willie Turks.
All right. How did you feel when you got the news of Willie Turks or Yusuf Hawkins of the death of either one of those?
With Willie Turks, I was young, but I can remember my parents being upset about it. And my mother cried. Because she's like, this is right here, and I left Crown Heights. I didn't come out here for that. I don't want my children growing up in it. Because we didn't have that when we lived in Crown Heights.
So how did you feel when he passed? Like, what was your feeling like? Because that could have been your brother or anyone.
With Willie Turks, as I said, I was younger. With
Yusuf
Hawkins, I was in junior high school.
Oh, all right.
And I actually went to New Utrecht with them. And I remember going to the little corner store. They had a pizza restaurant, and if you sat down, they would come and knock your food on the floor. They would stand at the top of the train station, and as you walk and spitting on you.
Wow.
And I had one day where it was 3 of us. We were a little late, and we were walking, And with the Utrecht, the homes were directly across the street from the street. And as we're walking and talking, we notice our friend, the gentleman, he's not with us. And we turn around and look, somebody had threw a baseball from the apartments, and hit him in the head and it knocked him out.
If you could see one of them racists that beat up your neighbor, what would you say to him?
I would say to them that, by the grace of God, this man is alive. They could have killed the father and the husband. You're out here destroying our black men, our people. He's a family. He was a family man. He had 4 or 5 kids at the time and a wife. I didn't understand it then, but if I can speak to someone now, like, we are people, we are human, we're just like you. We're doing the same things you're doing. We have the same responsibilities you have. So what makes you so much different? Do you truly feel inferior that you have to aggressively attack our people?
Right.
I'm just gonna try to be modest.
So Sister Cuisine, I got another question for you. Would you be white for 2 years for $4 million?
Maybe.
That's your answer.
Because I know how to play it.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Possibly. Because there's so much I could do with that $4 million for my people just to be white for that short period of time.
All right. Do you think if do you think if black people came together, united and made our own and didn't need the government, do you think that we come powerful, that the white man would blow the world up just because we in the place that we supposed to be in?
Right, and hopefully they wouldn't blow the world up, but I think we have all the potential
do you think they would?
I would hope we wouldn't allow them to. Because if we're in control, we're in control. So they wouldn't have that power and ability to do that. And we do have the ability and the power to be in control. If we choose. I choose to be in control. I'm soul sister. I'm in control.
All right.
I'm in control as a sister for our people.
All right. This is the last question before I wrap it up. So,
yes.
Sister, do you have a kind word for the youth that's coming up that didn't see the racism like we did, but it's still going on underhanded? Do you have a kind word or a jewel for them?
Okay, a kind word. The kind word is stay true to yourself. Stay true to who you are as a black or brown individual who has, if you haven't experienced, your ancestors have experienced racism, but stay true to your strength, because we're strong people, we're resilient, and you keep going. You don't let anyone let you feel inferior, because we are the superior. And I will always encourage our youth to know that.
All right, thanks for coming out, Soul Sister.
Great, Brother Rob. New Bagolino, no doubt.
All right, here's another question I ask my peoples. Did you ever have a fight with a white woman?
Whoa. That was walking to, going to Cavallaro. I'm walking with my sister. So we're arguing. And it was assembly day that day. And I said, that's why your white shirt isn't clean. So she heard white and turned around and said, what you say, bitch? So I'm looking at her. Now I'm going to junior high, but she's in high school. So I looked at her, I said, well, I wasn't talking to you. She said, what did you say, you little bitch? So I said, I wasn't talking to you, bitch. So she walked up and she slapped the dog shit out.
Wow.
At my face.
Was she was your age or
no? She was older than me.
Wow. So that really wasn't a fight.
No, it wasn't a fight because it took 4 of us. No, it was 5 of us, and we handled it.
Oh. So when y'all handled that, did it feel like when you handled it with a sister, a black woman, did it feel the same handling your business with a white woman?
No, it was never the same because you were basically fighting because of the color of your skin.
Yeah.
If I'm fighting with my friend, we're just fighting because we had a problem. It wasn't fighting for the color of my skin. And it was so ugly the way they treated us and walking and spitting on us and calling us nigger. So when you did get a chance to get at their ass, you got at their ass.
All right, I hear you. So listen, there's another question that I ask our people, Steph. Would you be white for 2 years for $4 million?
Not in 2 million motherfucking years.
Oh, all right.
Not at all.
All right. I appreciate. What?
And look, I ain't never dealt with no pink dick either. Excuse me.
All right. I appreciate you coming out doing this for me. I got one more question on the go out, right? Do you have a kind word for the kids who growing up nowadays who Not facing racism like us, but it's out there, and you know, just a kind word, a jewel for them.
Try to, with me, I love everyone. And I can, now that I'm older, I can kind of weed up those out that feel like that. And I know to just stay away from them. And I try, to teach children now, it's, you don't, the times we're living in, and it's the color of your skin. Unfortunate, but these are the times we're living in.
All right. This is one more. When crack came out, how was the racism then? How did the white people act towards you then when they had to come into the neighborhood?
They were friendly. They had to be nice because they was coming here to get their shit.
Did you ever see some that weren't nice before and then changed to nice since they were addicted to drugs?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And they were very nice. Oh, how you doing? Where you doing? Did you see so-and-so? And it was never like that when they were, not on the drugs. When they were on the drugs, they walked right past you and look at you like you were a piece of shit.
Thanks for coming out.
Okay now.
New Bagalino, Bensonhurst Stories.
Growing up in good old Bensonhurst.
That's right.
Yo, slap me and I'll slap your back. Where my warriors at?